This video is going to tell you exactly what you need to do as an executive in the first 30 days of your new role so you can fast track your success. Nobody is going to hold your hand and map it out for you. You are on your own here, but I wanted to make it a bit easier and less stressful for you by guiding you through the process of exactly what you need to do in this video. Basically, there are 3 overarching goals that you need to work towards in your first 30 days. You need to understand the organization, you need to understand your team, and you need to understand your role. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining step by step exactly what you need to do to achieve each of these 3 goals. Most important, the first 30 days should only be about you listening and observing. It should not be about you implementing or building. Those things can wait. You might have goals and things that you want to achieve as soon as you jump into your role, but you need to spend time understanding what you are actually working with here and also getting to know your team and getting to know the organization. Those things are critically important. So for the first 30 days, you should only be listening and observing. I highly recommend that you document and you track what you learn in the first 30 days. So I encourage you to open up a spreadsheet or a Word document, whatever works best for you. Create columns, one for the organization, one for the team, and one for your role. And you can write down notes as to what you learn about each of these 3 areas, about each of these 3 goals that you need to focus on for the first 30 days. The first thing you need to do is to understand the company that you are working in. This is super important because it's going to give you the big picture, the bird's eye view of exactly what you are working with, what you are up against, which is really important, especially when you're at the executive level. Some of you watching may have been promoted internally for the company that you're working for, meaning you've been working for that company for a number of years, so you already have a good idea as to what that company is about, what it does, maybe what its values are, maybe what its long-term organizational objectives are as well. But others may have been promoted externally, meaning you haven't been working for that company at all. You've been promoted from another company or outside of the company. And in that case, you need to do a lot of learning and understanding about the organization that you are now an executive in. Regardless of whether you're an internal hire or an external hire, I think it's really important that you still spend time understanding the company that you are an executive in. And there are 3 main areas that you really need to focus on here when you're trying to understand the company. The first is the company culture. That is really important. The second is the vision or the goals that the company has. And this could be the past vision and the past goals as well as the future vision and the future goals, because this is going to give you a really well-rounded understanding of what the company was in the past, how it has moved, how it has transformed and transitioned into what it is today. And the third thing you need to understand is the structure of the company. So this is the hierarchy of the company. You need to understand the different departments in the company, the different teams, and even the different roles as well. Now, it's really easy to actually get all of this information, and I'm going to tell you how right now. The first method is when you're in high-level meetings with other executives, I want you to listen carefully to what other executives are saying about the company. What clues do they leave as to the company culture? And you will try to get this and understand this through what those executives say and also how they interact with one another. For example, if people in the meeting talk about the pressure of staying ahead of competitors in the industry, or the quick turnaround of projects, or the short timelines in which projects need to be completed, then this could indicate that that company is a high-pressure company and one that values speed and efficiency. Whereas if people in the meeting are talking about how to invest into developing new products and investing time and money into research and development for the company's future products or future services, then this could indicate that that company values innovation and creativity. So your understanding about what the company actually values, and this you will pick up through what other people say and how they interact with one another, your understanding of this will dictate how you interact with other executives in the company and also how you contribute to the company's overall organizational goals. In those meetings, you might hear other executives talk about vision and goals for the company and how they are helping to contribute to the vision and the goals for the company. Now, take note of what they say here because it's going to give you a good idea as to what the bigger goals are for the company. And also these smaller goals, the goals more on a team level or on a departmental level as well. And this is really important for you to understand because it's going to help you know what you should actually work on after the first 30 days. When you get to the phase where you start to implement and start to build, it's really going to help you identify what is most important for you to focus on. I also recommend that you schedule one-on-one meetings with other executives in the company. These are absolutely people that you need to get to know. You need to understand what they do for the company. You need to understand how they fit into the overall corporate structure. You need to understand what projects they are working on, what goals they are working towards, what timelines they work toward as well, short timelines or long timelines. And you need to get an idea as to what they think is most important for the company to achieve in the next 6 months up to the next 2 years. And I suggest one-on-one conversations because I think you get a lot more information from other people in one-on-one conversations than you do from group meetings. People are a lot more relaxed in one-on-one conversations. They reveal a lot more information. When you ask them questions, they will answer your questions a lot more fully with a lot more information. And you can ask follow-up questions as well. You can clarify what they have said. There's a lot more time and space for you to talk and for you to get the information that you need to know, and also time and space for the other person to talk and to reveal the information they want to reveal to you. So I highly recommend one-on-one conversations as opposed to group meetings. It doesn't have to be formal. You can absolutely do this at a restaurant over lunch or at a local cafe while having a coffee. You can also get a lot of information about the company from various corporate documentation that's available to you as an executive. For example, past presentations the company has done, memos the company has sent out, written vision or mission statements that the company has. Employee handbooks also contain a lot of information, and also the website of the company can give you a lot of information about the company as to its vision, its goals, its direction, and things that it is working on. So I encourage you to spend some time going through all of these resources and trying to take in all of the information that you can find. I just want to jump in here and let you know about my weekly newsletter. In that, you will get additional insights from me, as well as information as to when I'm releasing new YouTube videos. So if you want to sign up, the link is in the description below. And when you do sign up, you will receive a free gift from me. Now, on top of learning about the company, you absolutely need to learn about your team and about the direct reports. These are the people that you'll be working with most closely on a day-to-day basis. Now, when it comes to your team, there are a number of areas that you need to know about. First, you need to get to know who they are. So what motivations and passions and strengths and weaknesses do they have? You need to get to know what they're working on, so what projects they are working on, clients they're working with, timelines and goals. You need to know about their preferred communication method. So this could be in person, it could be email, it could be messenger, it could be something else. You need to evaluate team dynamics. So for this, you need to understand how people are actually going to work together. And you also need to develop trust and rapport. You can gather all of this information either through group meetings or one-on-one meetings with people in your team. But I do highly recommend that you schedule one-on-one meetings with every person in your team. I know it takes time, but you will get a lot of value from this because that's the only chance you will really get to have a deeper discussion with them to fully understand who they are, what they're working on, what are their motivations, what are things that they're struggling with as well. You don't really get this information in a group session. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, people tend to open up a lot more when it's a one-on-one conversation. So I highly encourage you to schedule one-on-ones with every one of your new team members. For group meetings, I encourage you to incorporate some activities so that you can get to know your team better. Maybe some brainstorming activities that you can use, some light brainstorming activities so that you can see how people actually interact and communicate and collaborate with one another. This is going to be really helpful for you as a new executive. And it's also a good opportunity for you to get to know what people are actually working on, so you can get that overall view as to what the team's priorities and the team's goals are at that time as you step into your new role. A great activity that will really help you form a positive first impression with your team and to get them to know, like, and trust you as an executive, as their new leader, is to ask them about 3 milestone accomplishments that they have achieved in their career or even in their personal life, because people love to talk about things that they're proud of. So when you get people to open up and discuss this, and also to talk about this publicly to other people, you give them an opportunity to shine, they will absolutely love you for this. So it will definitely leave a positive impression on them. Now, for one-on-one meetings, when you're meeting with each individual in your team, this will purely be question based, and there are a number of different questions that you can actually ask people during one-on-one meetings, but I'm going to give you some ideas of example questions that you could use. What do you like most about your job? What's the most interesting project you've worked on and why? What's working well in the team? What's not working well in the team? What changes do you want to see? What things shouldn't we change? What feels most important to you in the next 90 days? And what is your preferred method of communication? And when you ask these questions of your direct report, you should leave them a lot of space to actually answer your question. Try to get them to open up. Try to get them to reveal to you as much information as they are willing to reveal to you in that first one-on-one session with you. You can, of course, ask follow-up questions. You can, of course, clarify what they've said, but they should be the ones doing most of the talking. So try not to interrupt them and try not to take over the conversation and be the one who does most of the talking. So give them the talking space, and you should take the position of sitting back and listening and learning. Next, as a new executive, you need to understand more about your role. So for this, you need to understand what are the expectations of you, what are your responsibilities, and also who are you replacing. For expectations, you should already have some idea as to what the expectations of you in that new role are. This should have been understood from your job interview. This is something you should have absolutely learned for the job interview in order to get that role. But now you're in that position, you have a chance to get a much deeper understanding as to what the expectations of you are. Talk to your boss and find out what the expectations they have of you are. Talk to other senior leaders who are your peers and ask them what the expectations of them were in the first 30 days of their new role. Talk to your team and ask them what they want to see stay in your team or what they want to see changed in your team, because this will help you understand what you need to focus on and what you are expected to do. Talk to clients if that is applicable for you in your role, and ask them what they are satisfied with in the company, what they are dissatisfied with. And listen carefully in senior level meetings to see how you and your team are going to fit into the bigger corporate structure. For responsibilities, this is something you can find out through conversations with your boss, as well as conversations with your team, with clients, or with other senior leaders. People usually won't directly tell you what your responsibilities are. Maybe your boss will, but other people generally won't. So from conversations you have with them, you're really going to have to pick out information that is going to give you clues as to what your responsibilities in your new role will be. Who you are replacing as a leader is also really important for you to know about. For example, are you replacing someone who is good at their job, or are you replacing someone who is really bad at their job and they were fired from their job? Are you replacing someone who was amazing at their job but they had to leave for personal reasons and people really didn't want them to leave? How much of their work are you actually going to continue? How much of their work are you going to change? These are things that you really need to understand so that you know what you're going to be up against in establishing your position as a new leader of that team. And at the end of the 30 days, you should have your spreadsheet full of information that you've collected from everyone, from all of those group meetings, from the one-on-one meetings you've had with people, from the discussions with other senior executives, with your team, with other departments. All of the discussions and observations and listening that you've done for the past 30 days, you should have actually absolutely documented this in your spreadsheet, which should be full of information that you can now use to know how you're going to go moving forward. What you need to do with the information on this spreadsheet is to look for common themes, things that people have said a number of times, or things that a number of people have mentioned to you through the group discussions you've had, through the one-on-one meetings, through the talks with the senior leaders, with your team, with clients, and with other people you have spoken with in the first 30 days. I want you to gather common themes for all of this information that you have gathered. Then you will need to share it with other leaders, because they're going to need to know what you are focusing on how you as a leader are going to establish yourself in the first 30 days of your new role. What are you going to be working towards? What goals are you going to be working on? What priorities are you going to have in your team for projects, for other things that are really important? So you need to share this information with other senior leaders in your team. I also encourage you to share this information or a summary of it with your team, maybe not all the information, but a summary of it with your team, because they need to know what you expect of them. They need to know what they're going to be working on, what goals they need to give priority to. And also, most importantly, they need to know that you have heard what they have told you during all of those one-on-one conversations and meetings that you've had with them. This is going to help them feel that you're a leader who has really listened to them, who respects them, who really wants them and values them as part of the team. After the first 30 days, then you need to focus on the next 30 days of your new role. Now, I am thinking of doing a video on this, so if you want a video on that, please let me know in the comments below. If I get enough people asking for that video, if I get enough likes on this video, then I might consider making a video about the first 60 days of your new role. So make sure you let me know in the comments below if you want to see that video. I want to thank everyone who has become a channel member. Thank you so much for supporting my channel and supporting me in creating these videos for you in the future. If you want to become a channel member and you want to know what it's about, then take a look at the link in the description below. You will find a video where I explain a lot more. Now, working on your people skills is really going to help you to develop yourself as a good executive, as someone who is a great leader and a great person to work with. And that you will learn in this video up here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got a lot of value from it, and I will see you next week in another video.